Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Jacob in Wisconsin, Tim in Green Bay. That was supposed to be a new intro video, and I forgot to preload it. My bad, guys. So it's all good. I told the guys, I'm like, hey, we got a new video. Check it out. They're looking at me like, it's the same video, Clayton. What are you doing, man? So, here we are, right? Here we are. But obviously, it's game day. This is the PTA pregame show. Welcome in. Thanks for making us part of your pregame festivities. If you're looking for daily Packers content and you're new here, make sure you hit subscribe and click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live in the future. Guys, we got us a dandy lined up here, man. I'm really, really excited. I think this game's going to be kind of close. I really do, man. I think it's going to be one of those games that's sneaky good on the NFL schedule. Today, what we're going to do in this show is we're going to take you guys around the league. First, we're going to give you the latest on the injury updates, and then we'll get you the inactives when they're ready. We'll take you around the league, give you an update on everything else that's going on in the NFL. Jacob, Tim, how we doing today, boys?
Ready for some football, baby. Let's go. Jacob, how you doing, brother?
I agree. Also ready for some football. Let's go. Hudson, where I live here, is 54 degrees, which is identical to the balmy 54 degrees that it is in Green Bay. Unfortunately, it's not going to be that temperature down in Arizona. It's supposed to be, I think I saw some metrics saying it could feel like it's almost 90 degrees out there, heading to the West Coast, heading there when the plane was delayed 6 hours on the tarmac, basically. I'm not going to lie, guys. I feel a little nervous about this one. I don't like the way that everything's kind of lined up, but I'm hopeful that we're going to go in there and we're going to kind of beat this adversity and come out with a win. What do you guys think of your initial gut feelings?
I'm with you. I'm with you, Jacob, bro. I really am. This team, regardless, we can talk about the injury report. We can talk about the delayed flight. We can talk about the game time decisions. At the end of the day, leave Glendale, Arizona with the dub, man. That's all you got to do. I don't care if we win by a point, we win by 10, 20, 3, whatever. Get the dub, get back to Lambeau, get your practice in, and get ready for the Steelers, right? Let's just go. I don't care about the adversity. Next man up. We got to get it done as a team.
Yeah, and honestly, man, this one feels like it's going to be closer than the Bengals was. Obviously the point spread agrees with that. This being a 6.5 point spread, the last one a 14 to 14.5. So I don't know, man. It feels a little different for me because you're on the road. Like Jacob said, the flight gets delayed. What were they on the tarmac for 5 hours or something like that? I believe
5 or 6, yeah.
And, some people roll their eyes and go, "Oh, there ain't nothing to it." The heck there ain't, man. I can't stand to be cramped in a plane for more than 10 minutes than I have to, So I couldn't imagine sitting there for 5 hours. Then, of course, you fly across the country, you get settled in, and you're already kind of away from your comfort level, all that stuff. So they're going to have a little bit of adversity to fight through, but I think the Packers have a good opportunity to get a dub out there this week for sure. Now, listen, we got our own injuries, right? We've talked about their running game being banged up. Matt Schneidman tweeting out Brandon McManus. Let's go ahead and play the clip here. Brandon McManus not even in cleats during warmups. He was kicking this time last week. Looks like it will be Lucas Havrasik again. So that seems to be the rumor on the street. Rob Domofsky also tweeted out Lucas Havrasik was the first Packers player out on the field pregame. The expectation is that he will likely kick again this week while they make sure Brandon McManus is good to go for the long haul and isn't fighting the quad injury all season. So looks like we're going to have Havrasik. I got to be honest though, Tim, I'm not near as worried about Havrasik as I am, maybe some other players if they do have to fill in a pinch. Dude looked lights out last week, man.
Absolutely. He answered the bell last week, and I think there's a realistic possibility he does it again this week. Kickers they call them specialists for a reason. You got a job to do, and there's some background with Havrasik, aka Havrasik, with our special teams unit. Both Matt Orzic and Danny Whelan as a holder. So these guys have worked out together prior to his time in Green Bay, and may explain why he was 5 for 5 last week, and I believe he'll be 100% this week. And it could come down to a kick in this ball game. We talked about it being close. So if McMoney's not ready to go, hey, he's the wily veteran. Bring the kid on who kicked lights out for us last week, and hope he does it this week on the road for sure.
Jacob?
Yeah, I pretty much kind of echo what Tim just said there. Normally, if this was the type of game where you're telling me that we're going to have a backup kicker that's only played with us for 1 week, I'd probably be sweating bullets if I'm being honest. But the way that young man came in and kind of handled the pressure last week, obviously it was a little bit of a different environment being at home, a little more friendly. But I feel like much like the Dallas Stadium, this is kind of a Green Bay Southwest, you know what I mean? There should be a lot of Packer fans that are traveling. Hopefully we'll see a lot of green and gold in the stands there, and that maybe gives a little bit of levity to the pressure that is, to kick. We've talked about it many times this week. It's not a given to just get a field goal nowadays. We've had like 10 block kicked in the NFL up to this point. So if we get out of here and the guy has a productive day, I'm not going to be surprised, but I will be completely thankful because it's not easy nowadays.
Yep, that's a fact, man. All right, so other injury concerns here. Rob Demoski tweeted out, I'm told Packers are going to put running back Josh Jacobs through a workout on the field at State Farm Stadium shortly before a final decision is made on today's game. It's the calf, not the illness, that is the issue. So we kind of talked about this with the week leading up, and then Jacobs went through a bunch of stretches and is now testing his calf. So there you see Josh Jacobs on the field, out there on the grass, trying to see if he can make it a go. Tim, I kind of felt like it may have been the illness lingering around, and I think that's pretty much all but confirmed. The illness is gone now. Unfortunately, we'll talk about it in a second too, Jacob. But Keyshawn Nixon seems to be sick now. I'm wondering if they're just spreading everything around. It's ironically, we've had something running through the house here. I'm playing at about 75% right now myself, so we'll see if we can get it.
The same thing happens when the girls don't wipe down the pole at the club, and I just tell them it's about washing your hands. You know what I mean? I mean everything else as well, definitely, but the hands. Come on,
Tim. I'm waiting on it. You know what to do, buddy.
You wash your hands, you wash your butt, Tim.
Can't find it. Clayton changed everything around on me.
I got you. Damn, we hit it at the same time. Hit it, Tim. Hit it.
Wash your hands, wash your butt, man. That's it. That's all.
I don't know. There's just something about hearing Jacob's voice say "wipe down the pole" that it really sounded disturbing to me, man. So
you're an amazing person. You know that, don't you?
So here's another clip of Josh Jacobs, obviously taking a handoff. He looks good to go, but it's always hard to tell these type of things, right? And by the way, listen, no pads, no equipment at all. Jacob, my man here, he is ripped. Look how thick he is, dude. Seriously, like he is built like a tank, isn't he?
I wasn't going to say anything, but in my head, as soon as I saw it, I was like, dude, he's just talk about the definition of a human meat missile. That guy looks like he's just built exactly to be an NFL running back right there.
Thick.
He is thick, Jeff. Thank you. I don't, like you said, I'm not a doctor. You know that. Everybody listening knows very well that I am not a doctor, but he does look like he's got the shiftiness, the agile, the agility. Whether or not he has the power to back it up, that may be one of the things you can't really measure by watching the drill like this, but he seems like he's healthy. Even worst case scenario, I really do have a lot of faith in Brooks and Wilson. Just kind of wondering how they would pepper in maybe the workload there. To me, it would feel like Wilson would be more of kind of the workhorse back, and that Brooks would be used a lot for pass protection, maybe more like third down stuff, but I could be wrong. Again, usually am. But what are your thoughts on that, Tim?
I think if Josh thinks he can play, let him play. That's my thought. And maybe keep him on a snap count, keep an eye on it. If anything, if he tweaks anything or feels a little, adverse to, conditions out there as the game goes, then pull him and it's next man up. But I agree with your statement that I'm confident in Emmanuel Wilson, Chris Brooks. I think we can get it done on the ground enough to beat the Cardinals today, with or without Josh. You don't want to risk anything, down the road, especially a calf. Calf can lead to, Achilles. It can lead to other problems if you overwork anything like that. And it's tough to get a real, bead on it just looking at him here pregame. So I think if he feels good to go based on the workouts pregame, let him go. But keep an eye on him early going. If we got to pull him out and, move the next man up, let's do it. And I think we get the dub either way.
Yeah. Turt L. McGirt says the Vikings getting beat. They did just get scored on. So now as the kick goes through, it is 21-9, the Eagles.
There you go. Well, like I said, we'll walk you guys through the rest of the league here in just a second. Latest on Keyshawn Nixon. Obviously, he's battling an illness. Matt Schneidman tweeted out, Keyshawn Nixon is questionable with an illness after being added yesterday, but he's out here warming up right now. So as you get a look here at Keyshawn Nixon out there warming up. Listen, I'm not as concerned, although Keyshawn has been a great player this year, man. He's playing like a true number one corner. I would be okay with Carrington Valentine going out there if you're a little concerned. Now, obviously, with Keyshawn, it might be one of those things, Tim, that you activate him and see what he can do. And if he starts to struggle, or hey, he doesn't have the fatigue, right? What am I trying to say? If he gets fatigued because of the illness, then you can always just pull him out and save him for a big play in the game or what have you. But I'll be okay with Carrington being out there. But I don't know, man. K9's a dog, no pun intended. That dude, I'd be very, very surprised if he's not on the field when we kick off here.
I agree 100%, Clay. I mean, Keyshawn is going to play unless they, handcuff him to the bench and tell him he can't go on the field, bottom line. But I do like that approach, and CV is waiting in the wings. This is a guy that, has been asked to step up numerous times when a starter goes down in his young career. And for the most part, he's answered the bell. So I like that approach. I think Keyshawn's going to at least try and make a go of it. Much like I said about Josh Jacobs. I think you put him out there if they feel like they can play, and then you keep an eye on him, and it's next man up.
Jacob, what do you think, man? You think Keyshawn's going to be good to go, or would you rather just sit him? Because, again, there's no chance of, getting further injured, obviously, with an illness. So it's one of those things that can he be effective, right?
Yeah. I want him to go out there if he can. I think that we're by far a better defense with him on the field. And that's something that, honestly, one of the things I was wrong about. I kind of doubted K9 going into this season. I thought that our biggest worrisome group was going to be the cornerback room. I think that I've been pleasantly surprised at the way that they've came out and played. Now, do I wish maybe we had more picks and that kind of stuff? Absolutely. But the type of defense that Hafley seems like he wants to play, I think that the cornerbacks are doing a relatively good job. I'd like to see maybe Carrington step up in certain ways and maybe have a better or I should say a worse quarterback percentage with a lot of these guys in certain situations. But K9 specifically, the illness is a tough one because it's like if you really have that full-fledged flu and you're in the thick of it, it's tough to ask a guy to go out there and really play meaningful snaps in the NFL. It really is. But if he's just kind of in the tail end of it, or if he thinks he can, I don't know what they got back there in special cocktails that maybe you take that makes the nose go away and that kind of stuff. If it's like a cough, if it's a runny nose, if that's the sort of thing. But if he's like in the puking stage, yeah, I don't want him on the field really because I just feel like you can't play your best ball. But if he's kind of still just, here we go.
Breaking news. The Green Bay Packers just tweeted out Josh Jacobs is active versus Arizona.
Get ready to go.
Well, that's right. He is ready to go. Sorry, Jacob. Me and Tim were thinking the same thing. There's, and I want to give a shout out to B Timmy 1037. He's the one who first posted it there. Thank you, Tim.
Yeah, no, I was just going to basically end up saying what Nick McSwain said. Just give K9 some perks. He'll be fine, baby. Well, my knee. I thought you said the flu. My knee.
My knee.
I love how he said it's almost like he started to spill the beans in that interview, Tim, and then he thought about I just need to try not to talk here.
Yeah, he knew Michelle Tafoya as a pro too. She would get it out of him, so he had to stop himself short there for sure.
Yeah, and we got all kinds of stuff shaking up across the league. So why don't we just go ahead and dive into the around the league portion of the show here? We're going to give you guys updates on scores throughout the National Football League, and more specifically, the teams that have a direct impact on the Green Bay Packers. So let's just begin to dive into it here, man, as we've got the Saints and the Bears. The Saints actually just scored, so the Bears are only leading 20-14 at the moment. Now, obviously, they're coming in this game 3-2. The Saints are sitting at an abysmal 1-5. You go to the box score, Caleb Williams. Look at this, Jacob, less than stellar. 8 of 17, 97 yards and an interception. Is the Caleb Williams love going to dissipate because the Saints are a horrible football team?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird when everybody was talking about how Spencer Rattler was going to be one of the worst quarterbacks in the league, and he comes in with basically a better stat line by far, doubling basically all of his metrics. Granted, he's got an interception and a couple sacks there, but 18 of 17, 97 yards, and an interception, I don't think that's generational quarterback numbers there, do you?
It does not look like it, Tim. It doesn't. But again, Spencer Rattler going out there trying to get the job done. The other thing I want to point out here, Tim, look, notice the Bears have a nice running game going for Caleb too, and he still can't make it happen. You look on the other side, man, it looked like Spencer Rattler trying to make chicken crap out of chicken you-know-what or chicken you-know-what out of chicken crap, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Who dat? Let's go. Let's go Saints. Geaux. Go Saints. Beat the Bears. I love it.
Yeah. Chris Olave, 5 catches for 98 yards, 2 touchdowns in that game there. And then DJ Moore is the leading receiver for the Bears, 2 catches for 32 yards. Roma Dunze, 2 catches for 31 yards. Listen, I've been watching this game all morning, or early afternoon, I guess you could say. It feels like the Bears have dominated this game. So when I look up and I see this stat line, it does surprise me when I look at the box score, because it feels like, wow, the Saints have dominated this game when you look at the stats. But watching the game, it feels like the Bears have had this in hand all day long. Hopefully they fall flat on their face here. So again, the Chicago Bears are leading the Saints 20-14 with 9 minutes left in the third quarter.
Spencer Rattler's a dog, man. He's a competitor. He's going to get it done today. Let's go.
There you go. Let's go to Cleveland. Here's the Miami Dolphins coming in at 1-5, matching the Browns' 1-5 record. The Browns are leading 24-6. My goodness. Dylan Gabriel, 6 of 8 for 59 yards, but they're doing it on the ground. Quinshon Judkins, 20 carries for 77 yards, 2 touchdowns, along of 46 there. And Tua Tagovailoa off to a rough start here with 10 minutes left in the third quarter. He's only 6 of 14, 35 yards, and an interception. Jacob,
Thanks.
Browns, man, look like they might pull this one off, dude.
Yeah, I mean, all that talk about the Browns being a terrible, terrible team when you have a defense as good as they have, it's just going to come down to the quarterbacking. And Dylan Gabriel, well, obviously those numbers aren't going to wow anybody. At least he's doing what he can. How long do you think it is until maybe the Tua talk starts becoming very loud about maybe benching that guy?
That's a great question, man. The thing with Tua is they gave him that contract, right? So he's going to be there for the foreseeable future. To answer your question, Jacob, I think he will outlast Coach McDaniels. There's no doubt about that. I think he, the fact that they gave him that guaranteed money, he'll be around at least a year or two after McDaniels. If they were to let McDaniels go this year, they would give somebody else the opportunity, because really what it comes down to is these owners, Tim, once they sign a guaranteed check for any amount, they would much rather just go ahead and kick the coach to the curb and say, it was his fault, as opposed to we made the wrong decision here.
Especially when you're dealing with a quarterback that is Nick Saban disciple. And, Tua's reputation precedes him. And I think Coach McDaniel's reputation precedes him as well this year. So I would agree. I think Tua probably sticks around longer than the coach.
Yeah. As Blake K4 in the chat says, McDaniel about to be a Green Bay consultant sooner rather than later. I completely agree with that, by the way. And a hell of a running coordinating coach, too, by the way.
Yep.
That's something that he was very, very known for on his come up in the league. So next game on the docket here, you get the Patriots at the Titans. Patriots are starting to run away with it here. 3 minutes left in the third quarter. They're leading 31-13. Drake May is an absolute stud. 16 of 17, 176 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions in that game. Cam Ward having a pretty good game too, 12 of 17, 151 yards and a touchdown. And really what it comes down to is the Patriots being able to run the ball a little more effectively. You've got 15 carries for 77 yards and a touchdown for Ramondre Stevenson. And then Drake May scrambled 6 times for 52 yards as well. The running game for Tennessee has been abysmal at best. Keyshawn Butte, 2 catches, 55 yards and a tutter.
Yeah, Cam Ward, just the latest quarterback victim in Tennessee, right? Poor guy.
Right.
Yeah. You know what's interesting? If you can scroll up real quick and look at, remember Chimera DK? I think that's how you pronounce his name. All of a sudden, we heard rumors that he was kind of flashing in preseason with them, training camp, and now all of a sudden you look up and he's got 4 receptions, 70 yards, a touchdown. By far their best receiver on the day. Kind of interesting.
If I remember correctly, too, Jacob, he had a really, really, really good catch rate, didn't he?
Correct.
I think he had.
I don't think he had a drop kind of thing. Yeah.
No, if I remember right. All right, moving along. Up next, we get the Raiders at the Chiefs. Probably shouldn't even mention it, but the Chiefs are boat racing the Las Vegas Raiders.
The Raiders.
The Raiders.
Patrick Mahomes, boys, 26 of 35, 286 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Isaiah Pacheco, 13 carries, 51 yards and a touchdown there as well. On the other side, Geno Smith, 6 of 8 for 31 yards. Yuck. Pretty nasty stuff there. Travis Kelce getting his Taylor Swift on today, 3 catches for 54 yards. So Rashee Rice back in the fold there as well, 7 catches for 42 yards on 10 targets. And Brashard Smith.
Wow.
Yeah, off to a good return there for sure. So again, the Chiefs are leading the Raiders 31-0. What's crazy is you guys remember the Geno Smith talk, right? This off season, they obviously they trade a 3rd round pick to Seattle for him, and then Seattle. So basically, what happened was Seattle said, "Yeah, we'll take your pick and we'll upgrade the quarterback position by signing Sam Darnold." It's wild to think about. So the Raiders, like they got some tough days ahead of them for sure.
Yep,
All
definitely
right.
bottom of the barrel in the league, I would think, right?
Yeah.
Battling for the worst team in the NFL right now.
Yeah. Let's get to the most exciting game here, Jacob, as the Philadelphia Eagles coming in at 4-2 are facing the Minnesota Vikings, who are 3-2. And the Eagles 21-9 right now. There's 5 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. I think it's the Vikings ball currently. So Jalen Hurts, 11 of 13, 170 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He is picking B-Flow's defense apart. Carson Wentz on the other side, 17-26, 211 yards passing, but 2 interceptions.
You get a pick, and you get a pick.
I'm telling you, Christmas came early in Minneapolis, Jacob. Carson Wentz just giving gifts out over there.
Yeah, I mean, we just talked about how the Vikings organization felt good enough to let not only Sam Darnold go, but our boy Danny Dimes, Indiana Jones over there, and both those guys are absolutely ripping up the league as they sit here and watch Carson Wentz take them down to the back half of the season now. And going against the Eagles, I didn't necessarily think that they were going to get out here with a win, but I thought they'd make it a little more interesting than they have. So far, it seems a little bit disappointing. If you're a Vikings fan, you got to be shaking your head and wondering, what the hell did we do?
Jacob, you're over there in Hudson. You're right across the river. You're pretty close. Can you smell the dumpster fire from your house right now?
I can taste their river of tears. Their tears sustain me, Tim.
We got a live update here, a little play-by-play. The Bears are inside the 2-yard line. It's a 4th and goal. They're going to go for it. They're up 20-14. They come out in a 12 nasty ace set. Caleb under center. They're going to motion the U over.
What?
He bobbled the snap and had to fall on it, so they turned the ball over on downs. Oh, and we got a penalty. They had a false start, and Caleb bobbled the snap. So it is going to be a turnover on downs for the Saints, who stand tall there. I say stand tall, but really it was just Caleb Williams poo-poo in the bed there. So
that's a shame.
So Saints
Get ready to go.
Saints down by 6, going to get the ball back there. Pretty cool. So
love it.
Back to the Vikings talk real quick. What do we think about this Vikings team? Because Carson Wentz played pretty good the last couple of weeks, right? Now all of a sudden he came out today and just, like I said, crapped the bed against Vic Fangio. It's cool seeing Vic Fangio do some coffee house stuff too, Tim. Usually he plays just that conservative quarters coverage. He's really mixing and matching today against the Vikings, kind of throwing a little bit of B-Flow's tactics at him, right back at him, I should say.
I think that's what's got Minnesota's offense a little flustered, right? They have weapons. I think they might have had, a game plan that Fangio probably expected and chose to mix it up a little bit. We talked about playing aggressive at the catch point if you're a corner or a safety. We saw that with Cooper DeJean today, taking a touchdown away in this ball game. Philly's defense is, really the big story in this game. Minnesota has no answer for them whatsoever.
Yeah, we got some.
As we're sitting here talking smack, though, the Vikings did just get it to a 1st and goal. I believe they're somewhere around the 9 or 8 yard line there. Addison just caught a little out route to put him in that range, so they are moving. 4:48 left in the 3rd there.
There you go. Ron Sample with some breaking news. Belton inactive. Two must be feeling.
I think he means Tom.
Tom, okay, gotcha. Yeah, all right, cool. So Zach Tom must be feeling pretty good. So they're going to let Belton sit out another week. I mean, this is 3 weeks in a row for Belton, and they didn't put him on IR, so that's a little bit, I guess a little fluid, right? Taking it week to week. But we've seen this a lot last year as well. So thank you for that info, Ron. Appreciate you, buddy.
Ooh.
All right, let's move it along now to the next game that's going on across the league. We got the Panthers at the Jets. The Panthers are winning 13-3 on the road in New York. Tim, go ahead and start grinning, buddy. The Jets coming in 0-6. Look like it's going to be 0-7. Justin Fields, 6 of 12 for 46 yards. Sure could use an Aaron Rodgers right now. You know what I'm saying? So,
Aaron Glenn, if you need a friend, man, hit me up anytime. I'm here to listen.
Tim, and Aaron, if you need another friend, don't call me. You're an ass. You know what I'm saying? So, the running game, Breece Hall looks like.
Actually, I would just fly him out to Green Bay just to tell him I don't want to talk to him.
just to say, hey, man, you ain't got a friend in me. Bryce Young, 13 of 22 for 128 yards and 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Rico Dowdle continues to play good football. 8 carries, 41 yards there. on the day as well. Ted McMillan, 3 catches for 33 yards. Chuba Hubbard, 1 catch for 26 yards.
1923 throwback game at Lambeau coming up in a few weeks against this Panthers team. Packer fans, keep your eyes on the Carolina Panthers, another team that you want to laugh at, but you can't afford to not take seriously. Keep an eye on these guys. We got them coming up before you know it.
Yeah.
All right, so
Vikings did just score a touchdown. Looks like Madsen just got one, and Mason, sorry.
Well, isn't that special?
We got a dandy brewing, right? So, all right, let's jump away from that. We'll come back to where we picked up there with the Jets because we do have the inactive list officially released. So let's go ahead and get that on the screen. Tom Silverstein just tweeted it out. Kicker Brandon McManus is inactive. Running back Pierre Strong Jr. is inactive. So, Tim, we were right yesterday. They called him up to be prepared in case Jacobs couldn't go. Jacobs can go, so they're just going to keep him inactive, right? Guard Donovan Jennings inactive, tackle Anthony Belton inactive, tight end Ben Sims inactive, defensive lineman Lucas Van Ness and Devontae White both inactive there as well. So I'm trying to think, man. So that means Keyshawn's good to go, right? Keyshawn Nixon's good to go. Josh Jacobs is good to go. Is there somebody else I'm missing? Obviously Zach Tom, right? So yeah, here we go. Thank you. This is Christopher. I believe they changed your name on us again, right? Yeah. Jacobs, Tom, Hobbs, Nixon, Wicks, all active today. So we're damn near at full strength here, boys. This is exciting.
I like that. And then Ben Sims inactive. I'm assuming that's Musgrave, Tuck Norris, and Fitzpatrick will be your tight ends today then.
Which makes you think with only 3 active, probably pressing into 11 personnel a little bit more, right? Which we've kind of talked about after breaking down the tapes. So, if you have 4 active, you might be a 12 heavy day. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Anything you want to add to that, Jacob? Anything we're missing there in terms of the inactives, man?
No, it's just kind of interesting to see how the evolution has came. I believe it was towards the end of the season, maybe even the last game. We were all very shocked that Ben Sims was a healthy scratch. And we were wondering, well, does that mean that Fitzpatrick is kind of looked as the favorite in the eyes of the coaches? We didn't really have a definitive answer at the time. I think now we can say that, yeah, it looks like he's solidified himself as tight end 3.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
There's a strong argument for that, for sure. I think Ben Sims being active could depend on matchup and deployment too, like Clayton was saying, game plan. But I would agree. I think we've seen some good football out of Fitzpatrick for sure.
Yeah. All right, so I think we've actually got everybody up to date here on the scores. Now, obviously, we didn't talk about the game last night, earlier this morning over in London. The LA Rams boat raced the Jacksonville Jaguars 35-7. That was a Jaguars team that came in 4-2. So the Rams quickly solidifying themselves, Tim, as one of the top teams in the NFC. There's no doubt about that, man. It's going to be, to me, it feels like the 49ers, the Rams, the Packers, the Eagles. Those are the 4 that really stick out. And I'm sure I'm missing a handful of teams as well.
Maybe Seattle.
Yeah, Seattle. There's a good one. Yeah, so it's going to be an interesting finish to the season for sure. What do y'all think about the Rams? Y'all think they're the real deal? And this was without Puka Nacua as well.
Yeah,
exactly. You see they leaned on Tay Adams today for sure. We got some vintage Tay Adams one-handed grabs in the end zone. Yeah, for sure. I think the Rams are legit. I do.
Yeah, Matt Stafford, Jacob, 21 of 33, 182 yards passing, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. Hell of a game.
No interceptions, no sacks. I mean, it just they made it look easy out there. I don't know if Jacksonville got a little bit of the the overseas bug kind of thing where you just get the jet lag and can't kind of get honed in. But I thought it would be way more of a entertaining game than it ended up being. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And you can see here, Trevor Lawrence was sacked 7 times and they lost 32 yards.
You do that, you're going to get your ass kicked in that.
Correct, Coach. That is correct. So a little update here. It looks like if this is real time, let me hit refresh. So the Saints do still have the ball. It looked like they might have picked the Saints off on TV.
That's what Dave is saying, interception Bears.
Yeah, but that's really weird. So this must just not be up to date yet. So it looked like his knee might have hit out of bounds too. So I'm hoping they go back and show the replay. They went to a commercial on mine. But the Eagles on a run here with is that Saquon? Saquon Barkley with a nice gain up the middle. Of course, the flag comes in though. So Philadelphia Eagles are leading 21-16 right now over the Minnesota Vikings, and it was a hold on the Eagles. Imagine that. So, all right, boys. Anything else y'all want to hit in terms of the team? Jacob, I know You had some over-unders. Why don't we if we can keep it somewhat organized in a uniform manner here, I want to get these over-unders. Let's start with Jordan Love. What's his over-under on passing yards?
Passing yards for Jordan Love is going to be 238.5.
238.5. Tim, how do you feel about that number, man?
I think it's a pretty damn good number. I'm going to take the over.
Okay. So you're going to go with the over there, right? And let's just take a quick glance. I won't put it on the screen, but I'll give you guys an idea. If we go to passing defense, we kind of talked about this a little bit during the week.
Yeah.
Passing defense, Arizona is currently they are tied for 9th best in the league at 6.2 yards per pass attempt. All right, so 238. I think that seems pretty reasonable. I think I would take the over as well, Tim. I do, especially with Josh Jacobs being a little banged up. Maybe you don't lean on him as much as you want to, right? Although I think there is a good chance you play with the lead again once again today. But Jacob, what do you think about that, man? Would you take the over or the under?
I would take the over today, just kind of like you talked about. I just have a weird feeling that this might be a more difficult game than we're thinking it could be. If we, for some reason, get off to a slow start, end up having to pass in a little bit more, not really trusting Jacobs if he does still have a little lingering of that, of the illness hitting him. I don't want to force him to come back and have to be kind of the workhorse too quickly. So I would take the over pretty confidently there.
All right.
I'd see him at like that 250, 275 range. We talked about Arizona, their strong suit is their pass defense, but I think Jay Money can definitely smash the over on 238.5.
Turt McGirt in the chat says he agrees. Take the over 238.5. All right, Jacob, what do we got next, man?
And still keeping that vein with Love, they've upped it considerably considering what his rushing over-unders used to be. Now they have him at 11.5. I still think I'm smashing that the way he's been running lately. Smashing the over. Thank you there, Tim. That looks perfect.
Yes, I would take the over there as well, man. I'll tell you, I love putting a little parlay together of quarterback over rushing yards. Sometimes those are pretty easy. It's like shooting fish in a barrel there. What do you think, Tim? You taking that over as well?
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Not to be boring, but I agree. I would take the over on that. I mean, we've seen Jay Money do it on a play or two before, and he's already hit the over on these, so I'll take it.
All right. What's up next, Jacob?
You guys want to do receiving yards?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so I'm kind of interested here. They got Wicks at 26.5. I mean, all these just scream smash, but it's just it's who's going to get the ball. The one that I always go to is Jacobs receiving yards. They've got him at 16.5. That's again another one where I believe that it started to slowly increase because I believe they're getting him in the passing game more. I think that he still does not have a receiving touchdown on the season, which is a little surprising to me because I know that before he got to the Packers, I don't think he had a single receiving touchdown in his career. I believe that was like the big mystic kind of thing. And we did get one or two last year. So I'd take the over on 16.5. And Jacobs, what do you guys think about that?
I think it depends on how much ball he plays today, right? We know he's active, but I would feel pretty safe about taking the over on that. Again, that could happen in, one or two snaps. And he's already on the over, so I would take the over.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, too, Tim, they played a lot of quarters coverage, right? So with that being the case, probably looking to check it down. Yeah, and Josh Jacobs has been very, very effective in the passing game for sure. Go ahead, Jake.
So Golden is slated at 45.5. What I think is more interesting is he's slated at 2.5 catches.
Ooh, really? 2.5 catches. So Wicks is active though, right?
Yep.
Christian is inactive. I would take the over on that 2.5 catches.
Well, and that's the one that so Jacobs is 1.5 receptions, Dobbs 2.5 receptions, Golden, like we just said, is 2.5, Fabian 1.5, Tucker 3.5. I mean,
over. I was
going to say, so if you had to pick one, right, you can only pick one, who do you think will be the slam dunk? Because to me, they play a lot of quarters, right? And with quarter, typically you'll play the underneath game.
I think I would smash the Jacobs 1.5 over.
Would you? Yeah. That might be a little easier. So if you came down to the receivers between Wicks, Dobby, and Matthew Golden, that's a tough one there. I don't know, man. It just feels like Romeo Doubs is always going to get those crucial targets. If it's a close game, I would take Doubs. If it's one of those games where we're running away with it, Tim, probably take Matthew Golden. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would agree. And what did we talk about at the top of the show? It's probably going to be a close game. So I would go with MG, the golden child, on this one personally.
All right.
Okay. What I think is more interesting is just that Tucker Kraft, they have more confidence in him. They have him at 3.5 receptions. He's the highest receiver on the team that has the highest rating right now, which I thought was interesting. If you look at the other side, though, they've got Marvin Harrison Jr. at 4 receptions, Michael Carter at 1.5, Zay Jones at 1.5, Trey McBride, they have him at 6.5. So they really think that they're going to lean on Trey McBride early and often and consistently through the game. That to me may be my biggest worry, is that for some reason, if Quay can't hang with them, if Cooper's not doing some good coverage stuff, that he could pick us apart kind of in those early downs and kind of set up. I believe it's the guy named Bam Knight is going to be the productive or the prominent running back. So who knows what to think about that, man. Do you got any thoughts on that, Tim?
We kind of talked about that last night a little bit with, Arizona maybe pressing into some 12 looks, utilizing McBride in the 2 tight end sets, and you have to account for him. So I think there's validity to that point. McBride is going to be a focal point of their offense. Then we give him targets, probably more so in those 12 personnel looks, I think, because it's going to free him up a little bit more than him being the only tight end on the field in an 11 look. So I think you're right about that for sure with McBride.
Yeah.
McBride's very interesting because, again, he doesn't have – he's not been as effective with yak yards this year, but, man, he's their leading receiver. It's just one of those things that he typically gets tackled where he catches the ball, but obviously he's leading their team in receiving yards. And I can't remember, what was his yards per catch? I'm going to look that up real quick, Jake, if you keep on going there, man. I want to see exactly what his yards per reception was.
Yeah, it's interesting. If you look at Prize Picks, if Jordan Love's over on the rush yards, which again was 11.5, is the 3rd most popular pick right now. So I think a lot of people have kind of understood that Jordan Love is not the Jordan Love of last year, where he had the groin, the knee, the lower body injuries that were stopping that guy from tucking the ball and running. They could probably throw like a 20-yard over under, and I'd still feel confident hitting that over, just because he does seem like that he understands that was a aspect of his game that was drastically cut short last year, and it does make him, I believe, I think it elevates him from a top 10 quarterback to a top 5, maybe top 3 quarterback when he can get his legs involved. I really do think it's that important.
Yeah. And in terms of Trey McBride, again, he's got 347 yards receiving on a year, 2 touchdowns, yards per reception is 9.4. However, what I was talking about earlier in the week, his yak over expected is a -8. So it's just one of those things where, according to the analytics, he seems to be, pretty strong at the catch point, but not picking up a whole lot in terms of what's actually there to beat. It doesn't mean he doesn't have yak yards. He's got quite a few yak yards. It's just over expected. Obviously it's not living up to the amount of targets he's getting there. He's been targeted 53 times. He's literally been targeted almost 20 more times. I think 19 more targets than Marvin Harrison Jr. this year.
See, that's like when we talk about Tucker Kraft on our side. What was his over under today?
For the yards, it's 46.5. For the catches, it's 3.5.
Yeah, it's tough because we talk about Tuck Norris getting the targets in this Matt LaFleur offense. We're spreading the ball around a lot. I think if this is a game where, Tucker's going to get those targets, I would take the overs. If it's a game where we're going to see a lot of, running the football, we're going to see a lot of Matthew Golden and Romeo Doubs, and maybe Tuck Norris doesn't quite get, the targets that, say, a Trey McBride does, then I'd be, liable to maybe take the under on at least one of those.
Yeah, it's interesting if you look at the comparison between the 2 starting tight ends. We think of Tucker Kraft as being pretty impressive. His over-under, again, was 46.5. Trey McBride's was 64.5 for receiving yards. And, again, his catching over-under was 6.5. So they definitely think that he's going to be probably the main production guy there for Cardinals.
Yeah.
We got an update here, too, from Chris. He says the Eagles missed the kick, so they had a chance to tack on 3, and they did miss that wide right. So, again, that score, a little up, that update there is Eagles are leading 21-16 over the Vikings. Number one Packer fan said, would y'all put Golden in fantasy today? Ask him for a friend, LOL. Jacob, you're the fantasy guy. What do you think, man? Do you think this would be a good day to have Golden out there, or do you think maybe go a different route?
I mean, I'd have to know the context of what he could play other than Golden. He's not definitely going to be a number one wide receiver most weeks at this point in his career, but he's the guy that can, have 3 catches and get 80 yards and a touchdown really easily. But if he, for some reason, Golden's the type of player where if I feel like if he catches more than 3 or 4 or 5 balls, he's going to have over 100 yards, probably a touchdown. As he gets more into his career, I definitely think he's become more of a possession receiver. If he had other options going into this game, I might probably start the other options, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.